Hello, everyone, welcome back to the channel Global Times USA. Please subscribe and like my videos. Today, we are diving into a dramatic, high-stakes event, Putin Shocked. Ukraine drone strike turns Moscow into fire zone. We will unpack every angle: exterior dynamics, interior impact, performance in military/strategic terms, safety or defense features, unique elements, costs or broader implications, and then wrap up with final thoughts. Let's begin. From the outside, the scenario is one of sudden chaos and shock. The title suggests an audacious drone strike that has transformed parts of Moscow into a blazing zone. The image of fire, explosions, damaged infrastructure, and panic captures attention immediately. The exterior, in this case, is the urban landscape: Moscow's skyline, residential blocks, high-rise towers, roads, and public spaces exposed to attack. In recent attacks, drones have struck both the core and outskirts of Moscow, targeting residential areas, business districts, and critical infrastructure. For example, in one reported incident, a drone barrage damaged multi-story buildings, igniting fires, breaking windows, and causing structural damage. The exterior framing sets the tone: a city under siege, alert sirens, blazing fires, neighborhoods turn battlegrounds. The visuals are powerful: smoke rising, embers, twisted metal, shattered glass, collapsing facades, streets choked with debris, and frightened civilians seeking shelter. The exterior also includes how city services respond: fire trucks rushing in, emergency responders cordoning off zones, airborne drones being tracked or shot down. All that contributes to the dramatic spectacle. Moving inward, we shift focus to interior: the human, structural, psychological, and systemic core. This is where the impact is deeply felt, and this segment will be expansive. Inside the buildings hit by strike, interiors bear the brunt: rooms ripped apart, ceilings collapsed, walls scorched, windows blown out, furniture wrecked. Families in their homes in Moscow's residential towers might have been asleep when explosions occurred, jolting them awake, disorienting them. Interiors that once were sanctuaries become death traps. Fires may spread through hallways, smoke fills stairwells, power is cut. Elevators stop working, leaving residents stranded. Emergency lighting flickers or fails. The corridors turn into chaotic paths clogged with dust, plaster, fallen beams. Beyond physical damage, there's psychological devastation. Survivors may experience shock, trauma, sensory overload from explosions, smell of burning, the scream of alarms, instinctive panic to escape. People may flee without shoes or keys, leaving possessions behind. Deafening noise, earth-shaking blasts. These internal sensory assaults are as destructive as physical ones. Consider also the interior of command and control: how Russia's decision-making rooms, military defense hubs, civil defense coordination interiors respond. Are windows of high-level buildings shattered? Are operation centers forced to relocate? Did drones breach defenses to reach central command areas? The strike may force patrons to retreat into hardened bunkers, scramble backup systems, switch to backup power, use secure communication lines. The interior systems of governance, defense, emergency response all feel strain. Hospitals receiving casualties show interior halls crowded with wounded, medical staff scrambling, operating theaters overwhelmed. Shelters opened under metro stations or basements become internal spaces of refuge, with limited ventilation, fear, urgency. Also internal logistics: how quickly fire suppression systems engage, how internal sprinklers respond in damaged zones, whether firewalls hold, whether internal emergency exits function, whether stairwells are blocked. Damage to internal infrastructure such as water pipes, electricity lines, ventilation systems, communications are critical. In short, the interior dimension encompasses both physical and human layers: homes, command centers, hospitals, shelters, and the psychological core. This is where the cost is paid: in lives, in trauma, in systems being stressed beyond capacity. Next, performance in the strategic military sense. How effective was this drone strike? Did it achieve surprise? Did it penetrate Moscow's air defenses? Were critical targets hit? Performance here refers to success metrics: number of drones launched, how many evaded detection, how many were shot down, how deep they penetrated, level of damage inflicted, spread of fires, chaos induced, disruption of governance or morale. From reports, in large drone assaults, air defenses often intercept many drones, but occasionally some manage to breach protective layers. In the recent attacks, authorities claimed to have shot down dozens to hundreds of drones, but some still caused damage in the Moscow region. The performance of the strike is measured not only in physical destruction, but psychological shock and signaling, demonstrating capability to attack the capital, undermining sense of security, drawing attention. The performance also includes how quickly emergency services respond, how containment happens, how public messaging is managed. In some cases, despite heavy air defense, a few drones got through, ignited fires in residential zones, damaged high-rises, forced airport closures, created panic, and temporarily disrupted air traffic. That is performance, showing limitations of defensive systems, imposing cost, projecting deterrence or retaliation. Then we examine safety features in this context: defenses, protective measures, mitigation systems. For a city under threat, safety features include layered air defense systems, surfaced, air missiles, anti-drone lasers, electronic jamming, radar detection, interception drones, underground shelters, reinforced building structures, blast walls, fire suppression systems, shielded infrastructure. Emergency response protocols, evacuation routes, drills, warning systems, resilient utility networks, backup power, redundancy in communication. In Moscow's case, authorities claim to have systems to intercept drones before they reach inner city, deploy electronic warfare to jam control signals, use anti-aircraft defense. Yet the fact that strikes still cause damage suggests gaps or overload under mass attack. Safety or defense features are tested under stress. Also, civilians' protection, bomb shelters, reinforced basements, early warning systems, public alarms, drills. Hospitals need protective windows, backup systems, resilient design. Next, unique selling points here, meaning what makes this event notable or distinct compared to previous strikes. First, the boldness. Striking deeply into Moscow signals escalation. It disrupts the myth that the capital is untouchable. It's dramatic theater of war. Secondly, the scale. Multiple drones, simultaneous waves, hitting multiple zones. Third, the symbolic target selection, residential, business districts, infrastructure. Fourth, the psychological warfare. Even if damage is limited, the shock factor is strong. Fifth, media amplification, Putin Shocked. Headlines draw global attention. Sixth, adaptability. Ukraine's use of cheap drones, swarming tactics, electronic warfare, decentralization. Seventh, messaging shows reach, persistence, boldness. Regarding cost or price in this domain, it's not monetary in conventional sense, but cost in lives, infrastructure, political capital, resources used, deterrent effect, retaliation cost. The price of mounting such an attack: drone manufacturing, logistics, intelligence, risk of loss, retaliation consequences. The price paid by Moscow: property damage, risk to population, disruption, embarrassment, pressure on defense systems, need to invest more in security. If one wanted a more literal parallel, cost also includes reconstruction, compensations, firefighting, emergency services, structural repairs, insurance, loss of business, relocation of residents, economic disruption, damage to public confidence, potential political fallout. In conclusion, this event is a stark demonstration of evolving warfare where drones are low-cost force multipliers that can strike deep, challenge traditional defenses, sow terror, and reshape perceptions of security. The exterior spectacle of fire and smoke draws attention. The interior suffering reveals the human cost. Performance metrics show evolving capabilities. Safety features are stress-tested. Unique attributes highlight a shift in strategy. and the price is paid in structural, human, economic, and symbolic currency. This strike invites reflection. Can capitals remain immune? How must defense evolve? Are cities prepared for asymmetric aerial threats? What will Moscow do in response? And what precedents does this set for other conflicts? That's it for this deep dive. If you found this useful, please hit like, share, subscribe.